Financial Survival Network, helping you to survive and thrive in the new economy. Get our complimentary newsletter at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. This is the Financial Survival Network.
Today's show is brought to you by PrepareWise. Rough weather's ahead, so it's time to prepare. Your leading source for emergency preparedness food. Go to preparewise.com and always use the code Lutz to get free shipping and a whole lot more. You are listening to the FinancialSurvivalNetwork.com. I'm Kerry Lutz on 1230 WBZT. Well, got so much turmoil, negativity, conflict, and turmoil in society on the planet today. How does one stay and maintain a healthy, poised lifestyle? And that's why we have Gary Stokes on with us today. Gary, welcome back to the Financial Survival Network.
I'm delighted to be back.
And answer the question, Gary. You know, how do you stay focused? How do you stay poised and positive?
Well, you know, I think that's our lifetime work for all of us, and hopefully as we grow older, we mellow out some, we learn some important things about ourselves, and we become calmer, more balanced. Our sense of equanimity and generosity expand. I hope that's happening to all of us. But then I think in the ordinary life, unfortunately, self-pity and victimhood are kind of alive in most people in living the ordinary life. And so when something happens that people don't like, they lose their poise, and then we realize just how hard this work is. You know, maybe we thought we were getting more mature and we were cooling off and we were easier people to be around, but now we realize there are certain things that can punch our buttons, and we react predictably when those buttons get pushed. And what's happening in the human arena, especially in politics, is one of those arenas where our buttons can be pushed. Then we realize how hard this is, and we realize we really have to go to war with our own weaknesses.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that guy on Network. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. And
yeah.
I feel like many of you out there feel the same way, that you're just fed up with this, and you're fed up with the abuse of government and the police and the various regulatory authorities. You're being spied upon. Every move you make, I'll be watching you, and you've just had enough.
Yeah, so now what?
Now what? What do you do next? What now?
Well, if we're historians, you and I have talked about this before. If we know our history, we know that things have never been better. We know that in the history of the human race, these issues that you just outlined were always worse. We were always more murderous in the past. We were always more divided in our country. We wanted to create two countries not too far back in our history, and we fought a bitter civil war, as we've mentioned before, where we killed tens of thousands of our own citizens. We killed each other. So we may be troubled by what's going on now, but we have to recognize that this is the current state of human evolution, and we're not going to escape it, and we're not going to elect another government in the next 2 years or the next 4 years that's going to make us all feel good, make all this stuff go away. That is not going to happen.
Yeah, well, I guess things could be worse, but yet the amount of surveillance taking place, the amount of, I guess, the entitled class of government worker that they look down upon you, that, in a way, has never been worse.
Well, I hope you're wrong about that. And I think that things have always been worse. You know, if we pick a country and a historical time, and I'll show you a brutal regime where people had to fear that the government might kill them tomorrow. We don't like this oppression. I completely agree. This heavy-handed authoritarian strategy that our government is currently pursuing to protect us, supposedly to protect us, we don't like that. But for most of us, unless a drone strike, unless we're over in Yemen working against the country, the government's probably not dropping a bomb on us. But it's always been more dangerous. Government has always been more dangerous than the American government is now. The historical government, name the country, as I said, name the time, and we'll look and find a government that was more frightening than the one we have.
Yeah.
In other words, we are evolving slowly, but still, our question should be, well, if that's true, and if the next election is not going to fix this no matter who gets elected, it's not going to change it. We are going to continue to surveil American citizens. Would you agree?
I guess what it is, Gary, is that most of you feel that the country's really heading in the wrong direction.
So we're hopeful that we could take a healthier direction.
Pretty much. I think that's it, don't you?
Meanwhile, what do? Do I want to stay scared, miserable, and angry? And my answer is no. And I know that in your heart of hearts and everybody else's heart of hearts, the answer is no. We don't want to be miserable. We don't want to be frightened. We don't want to be angry all the time. We don't want to be cynical. We don't want to be irritated and worried. So then, my question is, what might we do to feel some other way?
That's a great question, and perhaps you could give us an answer.
Well, I think we have to work on our own self-pity. Now, this is not easy work. Why do people get angry? People get angry because they feel sorry for themselves. This is the subject of my book, Poised, A Warrior's Guide, and it's going to continue to be the subject of my work on my blog, The Poised Life. This is my subject. What is keeping us from living a vibrant life of joy, gratitude, and lightheartedness? What's preventing it? Well, my study has shown that it is self-pity, self-importance, and victimhood. Oh, I'm being put on by other people. I'm being put on by the government. My freedoms are being eroded. So all of that is self-pity. And what I've discovered, and here's the good news, everybody, we don't have to feel that way. We can get over that. We can see through it and see that we're not victims. We're creative agents who can act in our lives, and I can be a joyful person. I can be grateful. I can feel present in this moment, happy to be alive. I can feel connected to you, your audience, and to all the people on this earth. I can take everybody into my embrace. I am capable of being creative and grateful. I'm capable of being lighthearted almost all of the time, and I'm capable of having my love at my disposal. That's what I'm capable of at my best, and that's what I'm going to shoot for all the time. So this path of learning, loving, it seems to me, is open to all human beings. Now, if our listeners, let's say there's some listener out there who would say, oh, that's all bullshit. I've got to stay in my misery and blah, blah, blah. Back to the enemy. What about the government? In other words, in my view, and this, I don't mean this unkindly, but for me, that stance is crazy because it's self-destructive. Why would I ever want to interpret my life in a way that absolutely guarantees I'll be locked in misery?
Yeah. And And I agree with you, because we are our own worst enemies, right? And why be negative when you could be positive? But sometimes, Gary, you do go through times in life where it is extremely difficult to put a positive spin on it all, isn't it?
Of course. Yes, I'm so glad you said that, because for a warrior, all a warrior has are his or her challenges and her decisions. So, yes, we have challenges. You know, in response, I'll just give you this little vignette. I was writing the other day on my blog about this, and a woman came in with a comment, and she said that she had been raped by a friend of 4 years who had, for 4 years, been nothing but kind to her, and then this guy suddenly one day rapes her. And now she can't sleep at night without drugs. She is in a state of terror all the time. She's angry and upset. And this happened a long time ago, but she can't get over it. Well, if that woman was our daughter, what would we hope for her? You know, what would we tell her? What would we say to her? This is when people come to us with their suffering, you know, this is really a tough thing when we're saying, look, let's be poised, let's be joyful, let's be grateful, and people come with these terrible things that are happening to them, and it's a lot worse than what the American government. The truth is, the government is not spying on me, so I don't feel this personally in my life, even though I'm very concerned about it, very concerned. And I think our democracy is under threat with this stuff. It's that serious. I agree with you. But the government isn't, I have to admit, spying on me as far as I know, although they may be listening in on this conversation. Huh?
There's a good chance of it, yeah.
Yeah, there's a chance of it. And if we say the wrong thing, maybe we move over into Category B where a closer look is taken. I hope not. But meanwhile, we are challenged. We have challenges. And our only response to that, we can't blame anybody else. We can't. This is my life. If challenges come to me, then there must be something I have to learn. And then if I can learn it, I'm going to move beyond this challenge, which is how I operate in my work toward becoming a more poised person. And actually, the good news is that works. When we work on this stuff, we make gains, and we can become more conscious people. We can become more joyful, more grateful, more creative. We can more and more often have our love at our disposal. But as long as we're locked in this anger, our life is over, in my opinion. It's over. We're going to be, unless we're willing to attack this stuff in ourselves, we're going to be miserable forever. And we're going to make everybody else miserable around us, because they're going to have to hear our endless complaints about life.
Well, that makes total sense, Gary. I want to thank you for coming back on the Financial Survival Network. We want to find out more about you, read your work. Where do we go?
Please come to my blog, thepoisedlife.com.
All right. And, of course, you'll find links to Gary's site at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Again, thanks for being on, Gary. Really appreciate it.
Well, may your radio show be heard as a work of love.
All right. We appreciate that. Yep. Take care. Bye. This show was brought to you by PrepareWise. They're the leading producer of certified GMO-free, chemical-free, organic emergency preparedness food. I buy all my emergency preparedness food there, and you should too. I like the 183-serving mega sample pack. It's an amazing value. It's $280. That's less than $2 per meal. Go to preparewise.com. That's preparewise.com and use the code LUTZ, L-U-T-Z, to get free shipping and much more.
The Financial Survival Network, helping you to survive and thrive in the new economy. Get our complimentary newsletter at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. This is the Financial Survival Network.